Americans. Americans concerned about justice and about peace. Justice first. Now, you're all eagerly awaiting the arrival of our president, and so I'll be very brief in my remarks, but I've just been informed that there is an aircraft carrier that's been positioned around the bend on the lake here, and he's going to be landing in about 20 minutes. And he has a reinforced athletic supporter this year, just like 4 years ago. And so for those of you women who were enthralled by that, he's going to be in shape again. On a more serious note, we have a president here who has brought great shame to our country. What kind of welcome do we give him? Do we give him a yes or no? No! We have a president here who is responsible for 3,306 young men and women from this country being dead now, killed in Iraq. Do we give him a yes or no? No! A president who is responsible for the veterans who do come back in one piece, or maybe two, not receiving the care that they're due, and having about 25,000 of those. Do we give him a yes or a no? No! We have a president, and this is for people who believe that Iraqis are human beings too. We have a president responsible for 655,000 Iraqi civilians being dead today because of this war. Do we give him a welcome? Yes or no? No!
Hey, hell no. You must go.
Has anyone found the weapons of mass destruction?
No!
Why?
Lie!
So the president lied. How about the ties between 9/11 and Saddam Hussein? He was responsible for 9/11, right?
No!
Why is it that 70% of the American people thought he had a role in 9/11 when the war started? Because he
lied!
These are consequential lies, folks. They're consequential for everyone who has a relative, a friend, or even just a feeling of citizenship with those of our young men and women who have died. Now, what we really are dealing with here is something that I have not witnessed in 45 years of watching things very closely in Washington. And that is what the Nuremberg Tribunal after World War II called a war of aggression. It was very clear that they wanted to define what a war of aggression was, and so they did. And this is what they said. To initiate a war of aggression is the supreme international crime, differing from other war crimes only in as much as it contains the accumulated evil of the whole. Think about that, folks. Accumulated evil of the whole. What could that be? Anyone? Torture? Okay, what else? Murder? Genocide? Kidnapping people?
Rendition.
What?
Rendition.
Renditions? Kidnapping people, putting them in black holes and not telling their families, much less the Red Cross, where they are?
Meticulous evil thought played out very great.
All right, meticulous evil thoughts played out by this administration. George Bush. All right. Well, so we have a long list here. Now, I think that the most obvious one that I thought all Americans opposed was torture. I mean, I can tell you as an intelligence officer, if you're a sort of a utilitarian type, that torture doesn't work, okay? That's reason enough not to do it, okay? But torture is a moral problem, folks. Torture is in a category with slavery or with rape. It's intrinsically evil, and this administration, this president has bragged about how effective it is. On the 6th of September, he got up before the American people and he says, now the Defense Department won't do this waterboarding and this other stuff, but I want the CIA to do these alternative interrogation techniques because they're necessary, right? They're necessary to get Khalid Sheikh Mohammed to confess. Did you know that yesterday Khalid Sheikh Mohammed confessed to being responsible for global warming? This was confession number 36. He was waterboarded. You could really get people to say anything you want if you waterboard them, okay? Now, I can't resist mentioning here that your representative, Pete Hoekstra, is as responsible as anyone in this country for the continuing of torture. Why? Because he was chair of the House Intelligence Committee when all this stuff was going on. He was consulted on it, he approved it, and you know what else he did, folks? You know what else he did? When people like me stood up and said that's wrong, he crafted legislation to deprive me and my colleagues of the pension that we earned for 27 years of service in the CIA and 2 years of military service as an officer. That's what he did, folks.
That ain't meticulous.
Luckily, the Congress couldn't get its act together to pass that bill by the end of the year, and I don't think it's in the new draft. So that's the kind of leadership we have seen. Last word here. We have a lot of people talking about a surge. You've all heard about the surge, right? 28,000 more of our young men and women being sent into the cauldron of Iraq, into that quagmire. What's the surge for, folks? I'll tell you what the surge is for. It's partly for oil. It's partly for permanent military bases. Now, we don't say permanent anymore. The Pentagon says we have to say, anybody know what the adjective is? Enduring military bases. Believe if all those enduring young military bases. Give me a break. What's the difference between permanent and enduring? Okay? That's what it's for. But more particularly, short term, it's to give Bush and Cheney enough breathing room so they won't obviously lose this war on their watch, okay? They're quite content to let 28,000 people step into the breach there so that the war won't be conceived to be lost on their watch. That is a cynical misuse of our young men and women. I think we need to stop that. Now, I thank you again for all being here. It's an incredible turnout. I heard that this area wasn't very fair and balanced, but I'm seeing it's getting more fair and more balanced.
Bush sucks! Bush sucks! Bush sucks!